Unit Mark 1, Scene 1, Take 1. G'day fellas, how are we? So anyway, Reebok bought this thing out quite a while ago, and they called this Ultra Hexalite at the time. I just broke it. Yeah. Anyway, she's seen better days. And, well, I'd just like to say that's not a honeycomb sole. This is a honeycomb sole. Yes, it's basically a one-to-one rip, except it's a basketball version instead of a jogging version. Yeah, that comes out too, but whatever. So, full thickness, full foot, Hexalite. Now this is 3D printed out of TPU, so it's not the same as your Hexalite in your Reeboks. It's a lot harder. And even this black perimeter, which is just TPU, the same material, it's not bad. It's pretty squishy. You young kids love squishy things, and this is about as squishy as a pair of Boost, Adidas Boosts. I don't know, maybe not. But anyway, this is printed really nicely. This is the second version. The first version didn't turn out so well. I've got to work out my interface zones for support material. So this one I printed on the print bed flat like this, whereas this is the first version. I printed it upside down with all this support material, which didn't separate very well. Plus the herringbone, way too small on this, so we redesigned this one. We just put it aside, it didn't work. And here we have our new tread pattern. It's a little simple, a couple of flex screws, whatnot, but yeah, we'll just stick that on. And this is all TPU except for the shank. Now the problem with this concept is that they break, and this is my first pair, and I swear the first time I put them on, the first time I took them off, I grabbed it by the heel and just slipped it off and snapped the shank, which was really just, I almost cried. I did manage, once you realise it's a bit weak there, you don't do that anymore, and you know, it's 20 something years old, I don't know. And my second pair, which is the older style, which is even weaker, it's got sort of less fingers, if that makes sense. So there's more material here, right? So these are basically become pillars in your bridge, and this becomes your deck of your bridge. And so the design flaw, if there is any, one could argue that it's as light as it needs to, because it does survive if you're gentle with them. You can improve that by putting another curve in it, right? So there's only one curve, so essentially this piece is flat with one curve. And whenever you put a curve in something, it gets stronger. So that's what I've done in mine. So this is ABS plastic, and I've put a curve on the outside as well as on the inside, and the inside and the outside. And I've also put a lip around the whole thing, and I've turned it into a feature so it sticks out. So when the upper goes in, we should get the upper to stick out. But we're probably not going to do that. We've got bigger problems, which is the last. We've got to fix the last. So yeah, this will be a dead end on this last until I remodel the last, I think. But I am very happy with how this has turned out. Yeah, so stay tuned for more. So yeah, here I've put the upper back on the last. Are we getting audio? Testing 1, 2, 3. Where is it? Testing 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's working, I
think. Anyway, so I put this on the last, I cleaned it up, I straightened it up as much as I could, and the length from heel to toe fits really well, but the width, something went awry with the width. I probably mixed up the model and made changes to the last and didn't print them, and then made the unit on that modified one. But I could watch this go around all day. Here's the original that I made like 1999, year 2000 probably, thereabouts. And this is just for reference. This is basically what I'm emulating. I still think this looks hell better than what I've just made, but anyway, what else? No, go away, cancel. Just play the next clip, you silly thing. Thank you. Anyway, here's a turnaround of the actual new unit that I've just printed. Get a nice sort of turnaround look. Again, I could look at this all day. So one of the big problems is the shape of this curve. It's not very round and it's very lopsided, which is one of the big things that's bugging me. Like the thinness, the gap between the uppers. That's one thing. I could pack the upper and stick that unit on and make it work. But honestly, looking at my last, this is the last that I've made that last shoe on, there's issues. And when you're making a unit, I've never made a unit before, that's the first unit I've ever made, you basically, all your measurements begin here, and if there's any sort of mistake, it's gonna show up. And that's what's happened, particularly with the round shape in the heel, has just really, when you add the allowances, those small mistakes get exaggerated, and you end up with what you saw in the back of the other one. Now this is the first one I did, and I followed a slightly different concept, and I ended up with other problems, whereby my wall thickness was uneven, and it doesn't show up on the back piece too much, but here on the front, if we can pause it, no, you're not going to pause it. So on the toe bump here, you can see that the outside is like 3 mils thick and the inside's like 2 mils thick, which is just shocking. That just stands out like a red flag to me. And as soon as I started seeing that and realised what I'd done, I was like, this is a dead end. So we've thrown this away. It still looks really good. That herringbone, a little bit bigger. Yeah, nice. What do we got? Just a slightly higher angle of this thing. And it's not glued on, it's just sitting there. And the fact that it sits there pretty well, I've wedged it in so that it sits nicely. And you want that sort of bit of stretch to have the toe and heel sort of just pop in there. And it does that really nicely. It's just the width, it's too wide. And obviously I've made a big mistake somewhere along the line, mixed up my last models, and here's the goal. So we'll be happy when we get a bit closer to that. I did get some tape for this back strap the other day, but it's a bit lighter and flimsier than this is, but yeah, I don't know, we'll see if I use it or not. Anyway guys, the work continues, so buy us a coffee. This stuff ain't cheap. Anyway, cheers. Stop recording.